You've had an interesting couple of months because you spent time in Kuje prison. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened there? I did read your viral write-up from prison, but I want us to get a little bit of an update. What happened that led you to Kuje prison?
Yeah, Kuje for me was just a retreat for rest, prayers, and reflection. But seriously, you know, on the 29th of January this year, at about 6:30 p.m., my wife came up to my room and said there are some gentlemen that knocked and just walked into the room, dark-suited, walked into the door. They want to see me. They said I'm expecting them. I came downstairs in my jalabia, no hat, and flip-flop. And they said they are from the EFCC. They've come to take me to the EFCC. I said, guys, you haven't even introduced yourselves. So they just brought out their badge and said, oh, they're EFCC. Show me arrest warrant. Oh, we don't need that, sir. Okay? Allow me to go upstairs, change. They blocked me. They didn't let me. Allow my wife to go upstairs and bring me some change of clothing. They refused. We went outside. As we went outside, their bus was waiting outside. The driver was sitting, the engine was running. And there were 5 armed mobile policemen, some deployed behind the house, thinking I would run. I'm not a runner. So we went in and I was sandwiched between an armed mopol and a young operative. And they were high-fiving themselves as if they had captured notorious Kachala Bello Turji. We went to the EFCC, went to the office of their boss, and he handed me a bunch of papers. What are these? These are your charges. Well, I don't need the charges if I don't have my lawyer here. Well, the guy was waiting to go home, and my battery had gone down, and I couldn't call my wife and to tell her where I was and how I was, and they wouldn't let me call her. And they just took me to the cells. Nobody had told me whether I was going to stay, why I was there, how long I was going to be there. They just took me around the building to the cells. Entered the cells, well, a lot of them were youth. They recognized me from the previous brouhahas in Nigeria. And they came up to me wishing me good luck and best wishes. I had serious headache because remember I had fasted for over 14 hours by then. I hadn't eaten or drunk anything. They brought me a sachet of pure water and tea. I drank and went to sleep. And then the next morning, they took us to, they called my name out. We were going to court. We went into the bus. Well, when we came out of the building, they had placed their official photographer to be taking photographs of me without a hat, in jalabia, in flip-flop. That was when I realized these guys are up to no good. All they're interested is to demean me, dehumanize me, and weaken my spirit. They don't know who they're dealing with. We went into the bus, and I was jokingly telling them, guys, haven't you forgotten the chains and the manacles? They busted out laughing and said, oh, our guy, it hasn't reached to that. We went to court, and they were not ready. We had to come back to the EFCC again, and they upgraded me from 4 of us in a room to I alone in a cell. I was there in the EFCC for 6 days. After that, I was arraigned in court, and then the judge did not give me bail. Her reason, well, she had a cold. I was put back to Kuje. I was in Kuje for 24 days. Denial of bail 2. Anybody accused is wrong, because bail is a constitutionally guaranteed right of anybody accused, except if it was a capital offense or the person is suspected of terrorism. Mine was neither of those. I was denied bail deliberately by this government to shake me up. And I was put in Kuje for 6 days and 24 days in EFCC for 6 days and 24 days in Kuje to shake me up and silence me. But no, I'm no one to be silenced. In Kuje prison, I wrote my experiences and told this government that 6 days in Kuje and 24 days 6 days in EFCC and 24 days in Kuje will not silence me. The whole purpose is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government trying to silence any dissent to his government. And this coming from a president who was an IDECO activist himself, who fought the military, who ran across the border and ran away from the military. And when he came back, he never gave neither Jonathan, nor Obasanjo, not even Buhari, he never gave them peace. He was criticizing them. Criticizing a government in a democracy is a legitimate right of every citizen. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to stifle dissent in this country and is trying to make this country a one-party dictatorial state. We are not going to let that happen. We'll continue to speak up. We'll continue to raise our voices because silence in the face of evil is itself evil.
A lot of people think that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, is strategically, politically consolidating in the entire southern part of the country. What do you think will happen going forward into the electionary period? Do you foresee a situation where it will be North versus the South? There is a school of thought that says that the president will not win because it's popular, but he will return because the opposition will lose. Is that your thinking? And what will be your candid opinion very quickly before we let you go?
Right. My candid opinion, the honest truth is that this is vintage Bola Ahmed Tinubu dividing the people. And I said up front, even before the election, I wrote a paper about Muslim ticket is neither for God nor country, but for self. The Muslim ticket, essentially what it did was to divide, cleave, put a big cleavage between Muslims and Christians in the North. And this, now he's realizing the North that voted him, people in the South are saying, oh yeah, North South, meaning he did not win in Lagos, he's in home state Lagos, but in Katsina we voted him in. So it is the North that brought him. 5 out of his 8 million votes came from the North. People in the North voted him without a gun to their head. When Lagos, his home state, did not vote him in. So we brought him in. After 2 years, what has he done? Every other appointment is a Yoruba person, violating the Constitution. There are over 300 ethnic groups in this country, but every other appointment, over 70% of his appointments are Yorubas. So he is trying to put a cliff. That's why I said in my paper, this government is reckless. This is reckless. You are trying to put a cliff between ethnic groups. You started it between religions, and now you're going between regions. Let's see if anybody in the South can control the whole of the South, and he will win election. Nobody can control the whole of the North alone and win an election. So all this twisting and turning they are doing, instead of taking care of problems they have created now, they are looking at 2027. They brought hunger in this country. They've worsened insecurity. The economy has gone south. Hyperinflation in this country. You haven't taken care of this problem. You're looking at 2027. For goodness sake, what manner of man do we have as our leaders? People are dying. And the best message I saw was Tunde Bakri's message, Easter message to the president. Mr. President, listen to clerics, men of God, listen to critics that criticize you and do the right thing. 2027 is a breeze too far. We have now to take care of and do that now. Cleaving this country between North and South will get you nowhere.
All right.